Hang on. You caught me having a sip of me tea. Evening, guys. We're just waiting for Wayne to turn up. I have no idea where he is at the moment, but he'll be here in a minute. He is, and I've just knocked me light off. Oh, bloody hell. Right, okay. So I still have no idea how to stream directly to the Facebook Dark Mirror page, so I have to start it on my one and share it onto the Dark Mirrors one. So hopefully that's.
Did you update your Facebook yet on your laptop?
How do I do that? I know it sounds daft. How do I do that? It's not use. I just go straight to the website. Would it be easier to download? Is there an app for PCs for Facebook?
I believe so.
Is there? Well, I'll have to look into that. If there is, I'll put it on there. See if I can do it through that. Because every time I try and click the destinations, it will not let me put in the Dark Mirror Show. Won't let me put any groups on. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody out there, welcome to the show. It is us, minus young Mr. Wayne. I don't know where he is. Has he sent me a message? Sending the link would be nice. I have sent you the link. He reckons, hang on a minute, what's going on here? I did. Oh, for God's sake, it's Facebook. I'll send it again. Hang on. Right. I see what it is. The bloody thing logged in and didn't sync the messages. I'd sent it on my phone, and it synced as it did it at the same time. It synced it and didn't send it to him. Oy, 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 oy. So anyway, yes. Tonight, I think we should talk about all sorts of things that are happening and going on in the world. Young Mr. Josh and I were just talking about some of these things, and I think it's rather interesting what's happening at the moment, don't you?
Yeah.
So, what's been happening?
You tell me.
What you were saying about Project Bluebeam. For those of you who don't know what Project Bluebeam is, Project Bluebeam is the conspiracy theory, alleged theory, whatever. There he is.
Fancy not sending a link.
I sent you the fucking link. No, I checked it. I sent it from my phone, and then I've got the thing on here. I have to sync the messages. I didn't sync the messages. Yeah, I didn't sync the messages, and when I synced it got rid of it.
So you didn't send it then, did you?
Well, I thought I had. So, yeah, Project Bluebeam.
Hello.
Oh yeah, we're just talking about Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam is a thing where all the governments, not just the Bobberments, not just the American Bobberment, but the British one and everything, where there is going to be its mass
cover up.
What do you call it? Holograms, isn't it? Mass cover up, mass hologram, fake UFO invasion to see how the masses go. But there's something, Josh. You say what you were just saying, and I'm going to add something to all this in a minute.
Well, Japan has announced about a couple months ago they have the capability of recording your dreams, which makes me believe my government probably had that capability for 30, 40 years, and they probably have a way to decide what you're dreaming. And I almost wonder, I hear a lot of people saying they're having nightmares about aliens, if that's something that is actually happening, being like forced upon them.
What do you make of it, Wayne?
Project Bluebeam itself.
Well, that and the measuring the dreams. I mean, I thought the US and the British had the thing for looking at your dreams when they started doing the LSD stuff ages ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the like the MK Ultra.
Yeah, that's right, MK Ultra. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I haven't really got into it all that much, obviously, apart from what we know about and what we've seen in documentaries and films. But there's obviously something going on, sort of clandestine sort of thing going on that we're not being made aware of. Prime example is the film Hearts in Atlantis.
Yeah.
Stephen King with Anthony Hopkins in it. You know, something there is going on where they've got people that are or have the capability of remote viewing, quite possibly reading people's minds and so on. And they're trying to sort of keep it under wraps to the point where if it was released and discovered that that's what's going on, all hell would break loose. We pretty much know that is what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of the things. It's, you know, like the old Men in Black situation. You know, they come out, they say no, Project Blue Book has now been dropped. It's no longer in existence. But then all of a sudden it comes back as something else, and then that finishes, comes back as something else.
Didn't they make a book out of that one, or a TV show out of that one, Project Blue Book?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And it was Professor Hynek. It was all about him, the original one. But that wasn't the original one, though, because it started way before that. And it's exactly as you say, the government, the bobberments, they'll do all these things. And then when it gets found out, they go, oh, yeah, we did have that, but we stopped it. They may have stopped that name. And all they've done is gone click, change the name. The face of the names and places on here may not be.
It's like the bit on Independence Day when they go to Area 51, and the old guy turns around and says, "What do you think they spend $64,000 on a toothbrush or a toilet seat?" You know,
exactly.
The funding is going somewhere, and it's being registered as for one thing, but it's not. It's for something else, and they don't want us to know about it, so they just continue it under a different guise. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are doing that, but
I would openly say my government's even actively working in the whole war on drugs is like a big turn on for placing for that, get that cash flow too. I mean, now we're hearing now like the cartels are using our like gear. I don't know if you heard that recently, but there's all this going on that the Mexican cartels are using American gear now. How did they get that?
I suppose in a way, if you've got one cartel that's, say, for instance, able to provide a ton of cocaine a month, and yet another cartel is able to provide two, then and obviously when you've got the likes of the Drug Enforcement Agency sort of popping in and they're confiscating all the drugs, all the cash that these cartels have brought in, I could see an incentive there of turning around and saying, right, well, we know you're the strongest cartel, so we'll provide you with some stuff to take out this smaller one. And then when they've been sort of almost wiped out, we'll pop in, we'll clear everything out. We've got the cash, we've got the drugs, we'll give you the drugs to sell on wherever, blah, blah, blah. And we'll keep this system rolling.
It's not exactly going down that way. It's every cartel has our gear. So there's literally somebody over there selling it.
Get them to fight each other. Make each other up. That's one way to do it, I suppose.
There's a couple of things I want to say. Oh, yeah. Whilst I think about it, Eric, on behalf of us all at Dark Mirror Show, big condolences from us all on the loss of your father. So massive bro hugs from us. And, where we are if you need it. And another thing, I just want to really... What if get this bloody thing out of my face? Another thing I want to talk about very, very quickly is most deaths these days in men is suicide. If you need to talk, look up at www.andysmanclub.co.uk and they do meetings, they're confidential, whatever you talk about in there stays there, and they've helped me, and I've watched them help lots of other people. So and I was pretty rough and pretty suicidal.
I don't want to sound rude when I say this or disrespectful in any way, but you just said Andy's Man Club.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'm not being disrespectful or rude, but that sounds more like a place you would go to watch ladies dancing rather provocatively.
It's not a strip club. It's
Cheer me up. I know that much.
it's almost like counselling and stuff. It's helped me, and I've watched it help a lot of others. So anybody needs any help, just look up www.andysmanclub.co.uk, and anybody who needs to talk or is suicidal, just go on there and have a look. All right, and they really help. So anyway, what we spoke about in the past, we spoke about. Do you remember? We had a show about the Vatican being paid by NASA to train NASA people up to talk about bringing it to the masses that there actually are aliens and they have gods and we have to respect them and this, that, and the other. And then it was all, and when the NASA was approached about it by several other people, they went, "No, don't know what you're talking about." And the Vatican went, "No, don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's in the news now, that it's a real thing and it's fucking happened and it's out there in the mainstream. We spoke about this at least 2 years ago.
I do remember.
And there are also schools now that are doing drills in preparation for alien invasions.
The schools are, the military now are. There's a bloody zombie apocalypse thing and paper. Everywhere is going mad. Now, is this a build-up to, as Josh was saying, Project Bluebeam? Is this something real? Do they know what's coming? What? There is something coming. And again, Josh and I were talking. We've both had people who work in the spiritual realm contacting us this week saying, what the hell is going on? All my spirit guys and everything have said, aliens, aliens, aliens. And I've been called and asked to speak, give some advice about it. And there's some, and it turns out Josh has as well. And there's something coming. So, Josh, over to you.
Oh yeah, I've actually had a bunch of former guests hit me up recently talking about this as well. One thing I would like to add though too about the whole invasion thing coming is speak to the Native American friends about it. What their ideas about aliens are. It's completely different than there's this hostile threats coming. They're like, yeah, we know about them generations now. Or Sky Brothers. And they're cool. They don't want anything of ours. They actually want us to take care of everything better.
Yeah, the tall whites, the Scandinavians, isn't it? They're supposed to be. There's two stories. I don't know. You know about them, don't you, Wayne? They're supposed to be benevolent, and there's another school of thought says they're actually benign.
Well, I know the Lakota called a group of them the stick people, and what they describe sounds like the Greys.
Benevolent or
no? They're cool. They're like, yeah, they taught us about this and this and this.
I think this is one of the problems, isn't it? Is that we've been saying this about religion itself as a concept. It's a way of having control over a mass of people.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're losing that control because now there are so many different forms of religion there that the main religions are losing their grip on the masses. So a way of sort of trying to get either the masses back or to control the masses that have still got left. And I can refer to the latest Omen film.
Oh, yeah. I remember you saying about that last week.
The storyline for the latest Omen film is a prime example of how they try to gain control of the masses. They've lost control of the masses. They know it. So this is where Project Bluebeam comes in.
Yeah.
If they can do something like that, then they could bring these people that have walked away from the faith, bring them back to the faith. And then they've got the control back against these people again.
Yeah.
You'll have more and more people turn to the main religions and so on. So this is where like the second coming of Christ comes along and all of this, get an alien invasion in, bring the people back to the religions. We can control them again.
Yeah.
What a great way to sell weapons too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I said, yeah. Well, we had that thing. We had that chat. We said about the Vatican, and I remember it was one of our more controversial shows. This is back when I was living at the old house, and people were saying about the religion. I don't know. And it was NASA approached the Vatican said, can you train some of our guys up? I think they gave them 3 million or something like that. Can you train our guys up to bring to the masses the fact that, yeah, there are aliens. Yes, they have their own gods, and we need to look at it from the religious perspective and this, that, and the other. And I'm sorry, but anybody now who sits there and goes, no, 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 firmament, no, firmament, no, we can't go out to these other places. No, no, Voyager 1 has left our solar system. Voyager 2 is almost there as well. And you're telling me that they can't get through the firmament. Bollocks. I had somebody say to me that we can't have all this. We can't have aliens coming and this, that, and the other because of the firmament. I am sorry, but that just proves exactly what Wayne was just talking about. It's controlling the masses. It's brainwashing. Yes, I'm not going to poo-poo religion. None of us here will will frown upon your religion and this, that, and the other. We have our own thoughts and opinions, and so does the show. So don't take us as read. It's our own thoughts. Religion is a way of understanding what we couldn't understand thousands of years ago. We couldn't understand people coming down to big spaceships with fire and this, that, and the other, and helmets and suits and technology that we could not even begin to grasp at. I mean, back then we were basically shitting in our hands and clapping and going, hello, Og, you know. And now we understand this stuff, even though we don't have that technology. Black Ops and some of the secret stuff that's going on have got technology that's 100 years in advance of what we've got now, been proved. But we can understand it now. So if this had happened now instead of back then, we'd have been like, we know what this is. So all the religious books, and again, Wayne, Josh, and myself, we've all spoken about this in various shows. The Mahabharata, the Veda, all of them, the Bible, everything. The Bible very, very cleverly leaves out anything to do with anything other than God. Mahabharata talks about the gods, talks about their Vimanas, their UFOs, them scrapping, them having thermonuclear weapons and lasers and technology. You know, all of us. Yes, they all do, and they all had a war, all had a scrap. Yeah, and the good guys were the good aliens. They're the angels. The bad guys were the bad aliens, and they're demons. And that's literally how we perceive things back then.
I mean, the Bible does actually explain about the Anunnaki and the Nephilim, but they just call them by a different name. They
That's
call
right.
the Watchers or the Shining Ones.
That's right. And all Anunnaki means is, it's another term like saying spaceman. That's all it means. That's literally all it means. So, you know, Anunnaki isn't a planet or anything. The planet was Nibiru. If you go back into the old legends of Gilgamesh and that and just beyond. So, yeah. But anyway, Blue Beam and governments and bobberments and conspiracies. And we need to bring in Fritz, our resident German man in black, who knows about all this stuff. And he has ways of making you talk. Yeah? And he always says at the end of the meeting, look at the shiny light. Poof! You are potatoes. So, yeah. What do we make of this government cover-up and Man in Black and Project Bluebeam? You guys in the chat room, talk to us. What do you think, Project Bluebeam? You think it's real? Do you think it's false flags? What do you reckon?
I know one thing that did make me laugh. I saw something on TikTok. They're saying about China. In China, a lot of residents are starting to paint their houses, the roofs of their houses blue, or put blue plastic over the top. And straight away, someone turned around and went, "It's Project Bluebeam."
Oh, fuck me.
Because obviously they're seeing about what happened in Hawaii, what happened in Honduras.
Yes. Blue.
You know, they reckoned it was this laser that had obviously set fire to everything, but things that were blue. Everything that was blue was saved. So all these people in China now are starting to cover their roofs with blue plastic or blue paint because they're now fearful that that weapon is now going to be turned on them. So if they decorate them blue, they'll be saved.
There's a video of Joe Biden talking about it. He's like, we need to fix that. I don't know if it's probably been scrubbed now, but I'll have to dig through it. Where he's literally like, yeah, that needs to be fixed, and he doesn't realize his mic's on his shirt, or like, he doesn't realize where the hell he is most of the time.
Yeah, I think he's still He still thinks it's Sunday. He's probably waiting for his Sunday roast.
Do you know what? I must admit, I was looking at because one thing we don't really touch on politics here on the show because it's so controversial, and also I get pretty irate at the shit we have going on in our countries at the moment, and how MPs and politicians do fuck all apart from line their own pockets. But I look at the moment, I look at Rishi Sunak and I look at Joe Biden, and I think one's fucking half asleep having a nap most of the time, and the other one's literally the child catcher from what was it from? The child catcher.
Oh, Chitty Bang Bang.
Thank you, Mrs. Wayne. Yeah,
Came a voice from the other side of the house.
Yeah, he's literally there going, whoa! At the moment, with people who are disabled and on benefits going, let's cut their benefits. And then you got Joe Biden, and then you got Donald Trump, and it's like, do you want somebody who has Cheetos for hair, or do you want somebody who's 3/4 asleep? But they're all of them, all around the world, every single one of the bastards are all corrupt as hell. So let's not go on there.
Douche in a turd sandwich.
The problem is though, although we don't do politics, that's where it all stems down to. Because obviously we vote these people in to work on our behalf.
Yeah.
The problem is then they work on our behalf, but they don't ask us what we want and what we think is right for us to move forward. And then obviously there's this little level above them that's actually really pushing and telling them what they should
the black
be
government.
doing. And I saw something earlier on where they were saying about the Labour Party is actually a company, also known as Alistair Darling. It's actually down as a company.
They're just as bad as the Conservatives. They all fucking are.
There is something else going on, and unfortunately, you can't really. When we look down the road of who's the ones that are sort of pressing the buttons and pulling the strings,
exactly.
It's not us. We're the only ones that get to pull the strings when it comes to putting our little X in the box. And then as soon as our X is in that box, they then start to twist things in their favour or whoever's favour. Saying about the Lord Mayor of London, how the hell did he get in for a third time after everything that he's done?
Oh, I wonder why. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say it live on air, but I wonder how he got in again.
I personally think it was rigged. I'm going to say it. I personally think it was rigged. I don't think it's got down to who voted.
It's about as honest as Putin being elected back in again, isn't it?
I mean, people were saying, "Oh, that's he made the voting booths have pencils." Well, I'm sorry, no, that's misinformation that's been spread about all over the place. Everywhere has pencils. It's not just the mayor, London mayor elections. Everywhere had pencils in the voting booths because they're cheaper. But if you put your X in the box and you put it in hard enough, it don't matter how much rubbing out they do, you will not get rid of that mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard Wayne say hard and rubbing out in one sentence. Right.
Just don't go on about parking spots, all right?
But, yeah, as you guys on this know, on our show, we talk on a tangent. We go off and talk about politics at the moment. Josh will tell you over there in America, politics, no one will give you the time of day for fucking any of it. They're all as bad as each other, aren't they?
Yep.
Douche in a turd sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. What they need is the Dark Mirror team. They need the Dark Mirror team. That's what it was, because we'd sit back and say, first of all, disclosure, full fucking disclosure. Bring it all out. Secondly, I want to see your black budget thing. Let's see all the technology you've got. I want to see all the stuff for curing cancer and all these horrible diseases that you've had the cures for so long, and you hide it all and you kill off anybody who tries to go public with it, and all these renewable energy sources that you've been killing everybody off for. I want to see that, and I want to see the heads of all the energy corporations in my office fucking now. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Look at Phil Schneider, all these whistleblowers, everybody who comes out with all this stuff, and when anybody goes public, back along 10, 20 years ago, wasn't it? If you came out with stuff and was a whistleblower, you would be gone. And you could be not suicidal, you could be happy as Larry, and you'd be fucking dead the next day. Phil Schneider, he lost his fingers in a laser fight. underneath. Oh, is it the one that's underneath Colorado Airport? Was it? Yeah. There's an alien base built underneath Colorado Airport. That's why Colorado Airport's so big. And all the soil that was taken out of Colorado Airport when it was being built didn't match what's there now. But he lost his fingers in a gun battle underneath.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was a military installation that they were building, and they burrowed into.
Yeah.
A great.
And as soon as he came out with it, he brought out. There was a video of him. I can't find that video anywhere, but there was a video of him saying, "Listen, guys, I have been warned. I've been approached. I've been told, shut the hell up now. Do not go any further." And he said, "Bollocks, sir. I know they're going to kill me anyway. I'm going to come out." And he did that big symposium where he came out with all this stuff, and he put all the slides and everything up, and he told the truth. A couple of days later, gone. And it's the same.
Not even a couple of days later, it was in his hotel room at the conference.
Yeah, that's right. And gone. And it's happened with so many people who've done it. It's happened with so many people who've brought out renewable energy sources. It's happened with people who've brought out cures for cancer and have said, these pharmaceutical companies have had this cure for X amount of years. They won't give it to you because they, as they say, they make more money in prevention rather than cure. And that's why they will never release them. It's disgusting. The state of affairs that we've got here.
It's like we said the other day about dandelions.
Yeah.
That dandelions actually make the best heart medicine ever possibly.
I take dandelion root extract.
And yet the biggest pharmaceutical company in the world that manufactures heart medication owns the company that makes that gets rid of dandelions.
Write my name in.
Yeah. I think we should have President Josh, and we should have Prime Minister either Mark, joint Prime Ministerial Mark and Wayne. Fuck it, yes, we'll do it. We'll join forces.
But I mean, it's like Edward Snowden, weren't it?
Yes, yeah. They tried so hard to extradite him, didn't they, over to America?
Yeah. Well, he is
out of Russia.
Yeah, he's an American and neutralized Russian citizen. So
yeah.
They've tried to get him back, so he's had to go into hiding. But you know, he's 40 years old and he's got a lot to lose, so he had to go into hiding. And I think it's weird because my favorite musician Jean-Michel Jarre did a track called Exit, and in that music track, he has communicated with Edward Snowden, but the actual interview with Edward Snowden to actually make that track was actually bounced off of so many servers, so that it would have taken the authorities God knows how long to try and trace where he was. It was bouncing off of so many computers, so they were able to do that interview, and the interview only lasted 6 minutes.
Yeah,
because he knew full well that if it was any longer than that, they would have caught him.
Yeah. I'd say I love all this stuff. Absolutely love all this stuff. Now, a little question before we carry on. All of you watching, because I can see we've got people watching from Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Oh, nice one, Twitter. Oh, hey. You're all watching. Those of you out there who can access the chat room, because I've got different chat on here to the chat that's on here. So those of you out there who believes that we are not alone, who believes there are people, our brothers from other planets, and who believes they are here and we're going to see them very soon. And whilst you guys are sending us some messages about that, Wayne and Dan, do you reckon we'll see them soon? Or do you reckon? Well, you must know.
Hey,
Hey?
You called me Dan.
Where's
Dan?
Dan, you just called me Dan.
Wayne and I was going to say Wayne and, not Wayne Dan. You look like a slimline version of Dan. No offense.
I personally think it's human ignorance to think that we're the only living thing in the known universe, considering there are so many suns out there that would have even just one possible planet around that one sun that's in that right distance with the right makeup on it.
Thank you.
And because we've got a gap of millions of years, who's to say that on that planet, that evolution, that extinction of the dinosaurs didn't happen, say, 3,000 years earlier, That's all it needs. Less than that, even, for the next stage of evolution to take hold, which would then make them thousands of years more advanced than us. So who's to say that in 1,000 years' time, we've managed to develop the technology needed to go from point A to point B in the space of hours rather than months or years?
We've now got it coming, haven't we?
Exactly. So, you know, I do think it's just human ignorance that we're the only living thing. We know for a fact there was life on Mars. At least there was.
Yeah.
So we now know there is still an atmosphere on Mars. We know there's water on Mars. Okay, it's colder.
And there's an atmosphere. There is an atmosphere. If you go up on Mars, the atmosphere is so bad, everybody's really pissed off at each other. But anyway.
It's colder on Mars.
That was a bad
but
joke.
It had life. So who's to say there isn't any subterranean life?
Yeah, exactly. You've got, again, in this chat room, you've got Andy, who goes to Andy's Man Club. He's just said, I think we would have to be very naive to think we are the only intellectuals in the universe. Of course. And you've got to remember that there's not just carbon-based life, which is what we are. There's silicon-based life as well.
I also think that we're not the intellectuals.
I think we are.
Yeah, we think we are, because I think, again, human ignorance. We're putting ourselves down as the intellectual beings, but I think the majority of other beings that are out there in space are a hell of a lot more cleverer than us.
Well, you look at all the different levels of awakeness and intelligence and stuff, and we're like level 1 or level 2 at the most.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you've got when you look back and you look at look at the scrolls and the precursors to us, Thoth, yeah, and he was an Atlantean, and he says he was an Atlantean, and they came from out there. They came from another planet, and they were like level 3 or 4, weren't they? Because they're not quite energy beings. They have to either reincarnate or whatever, but their technology is ridiculous. And the Atlanteans, were the Anunnaki. And they're supposed to be coming back.
We're cavemen compared to them.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, if you, for those of you who want to research this sort of stuff about aliens and us and everything, there were precursors to us. We're like humans 2.4. People say, no, there wasn't. Yeah, we bloody were, because there's been more and more things coming out that showed there was some form of intelligent civilization on this earth. Was it 1.5 million years ago, wasn't it? The nuclear depleted uranium that was found. Yeah, depleted uranium you only get through man-made process, and they found stuff that's 1.5 million years old. Göbekli, I can't say it probably. Göbekli Tepe. Yeah, that's it. That's been found to be a lot older than they thought. And the sand that was used to bury it was taken from 80 miles away. And it was hundreds of tons of sand, and it was all done in one boof. How did that happen? On their sigils and stuff that they've got on there, it depicts alien life. It depicts how they came down and gave them knowledge of agriculture and star systems and this, that, and the other. The Watusi tribe, amongst other tribes, and the Dogon tribe, they all know about the Pleiades system. They all know about our star brothers that came from the Pleiades system. They don't write anything down. It's all word of mouth, and they'll draw it in the sand for you, and they'll draw an exact star map and show you where we came from. Aboriginal Dreamtime, before the Dreamtime, and it was all part of Pangaea, it was white Caucasians that were in Australia, but they weren't normal white Caucasians. They weren't us. They were way, way taller, you know, and these were the Nordics, the tall whites, who possibly related to the Atlanteans and the Anunnaki. And again, when you go back and just keep going further back and back and back and back and back, you look at the old kings of Ireland, the Tuatha De Danann, the Fae people who came through doorways and gateways in Ireland. The Native Americans, they talk about how all their brothers come through doorways and can keep coming out, and they can keep communicating with them. If you look right into it, you'll find knowledge all over the world. Allegedly, the Iraq War, the first one was started because they had one of the Stargates there, and the Allied forces wanted it, and that's what it was all about. Again, I don't know if that's real or not. It's an alleged thing, and the list goes on and on and on. There's a Stargate in Atlantis. There's been an advanced civilization found in Atlantis, Antarctica. So yeah.
I was
You
going
can
to say,
talk.
how did they find a Stargate in Atlantis?
I was thinking of the TV program.
They find Atlantis first.
Well, and that brings us round nicely to the Black Pyramid, the main Black Pyramid in Antarctica. I know there's three main ones, but
Yep.
since LiDAR's been done, there's at least 4 more being seen underneath, and they reckon there's hundreds more all over like Antarctica and stuff where this civilization or remains of it has been found.
The bizarre part of that, though, that's why I mentioned to you earlier on about the other ones. They're all made of the same material.
Exactly. And it's not obsidian, is it? They originally thought it was obsidian, and it's not. It's a material we don't know what the hell it is yet. And for those of you who don't know about the Black Pyramid, the one we're talking about, it's been found in Antarctica. You may have seen pictures of like this snowy looking mountain that's been found. But there's Antarctica, and there's right on the top of Canada,
Alaska.
There's one there as well.
And there is another one in Egypt, but that has been weather damaged.
Yeah. Well, according to the ancient scrolls, the Babylonian texts, all this stuff, when Thoth and Nat was told to go and rebuild the land of Kem, go and rebuild it out of the mud and everything. This is after the Great Flood and everything. When they left Egypt, because the pyramids were originally used to as generators of some sort, they took off all the caps so that it can never be used as generators again. And then it was, we bury our kings there, and this, that, and the other. But they know there's channels where some sort of liquid used to go, and it helped produce all this electricity. This pyramid I'm going on about is the one, I think it's the main one in Alaska, where it's twice the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza, twice the size, twice the height, to the millimeter. And there's another one in Antarctica where that is slightly off, isn't it? And I think it's got one more side to it as well. But instead of it being like that, they're sort of like that, and there's 5 sides to it. But this one in Alaska is guarded by
Antarctica.
Start what?
Antarctica.
Yeah, Antarctica. I'm on about the Alaskan one at the moment, because that's the one that's got all the US forces around it. Yeah, it's got the US forces around it and some sort of security force around it. And I've been reading.
Supposed to be underground.
Yeah, that's right. There's basically they have staff that work there, and I've been reading some whistleblower stuff, and there's fucking interesting things coming out. They used to get in a minibus at Anchorage, blacked out windows, and other parts of Alaska, and they'd be taken for about 4-hour drive, and then they'd stop, be given big coats, told to get out, and there's like a little concrete room with 2 soldiers outside it, and it's middle of bloody nowhere. And they go in this room, the CEO would come and go, right, you're all in, right? You press a button, the floor would go, take them on the ground, lots of passages made out of this same black stone, and then they come to this Black Pyramid, which was emitting enough energy from what I've been told and what I've read. The amount of energy that comes out of this one Black Pyramid could supply all the electricity for the whole of North America for a year.
Yeah, there was an interview with a ufologist, and she was actually invited to go to this Black Pyramid, and she was taken by helicopter up to this place where she was going to be taken from the helicopter into the base of this pyramid, to an office where she would have an appointment with someone. And she said the helicopter never even powered down.
That's right.
She said somebody came out, they went to the helicopter, they spoke to the pilot, then there was exchange of stuff from the helicopter into the pyramid, and then the helicopter took off and went. It didn't stick around.
And when
something wasn't right.
Yeah, and any planes or anything that go near the that particular pyramid, when they're taking staff there, all the dials and everything stop, and they have to literally fly by just using their own eyesight. And there is an airstrip cut into the land near there, and it's not just that one; it's the Antarctic one as well.
Yeah, and that would also explain why there is a no-fly zone for satellites in the North and South Pole. You look on a satellite track. If you look at the satellite trackers, there's like a little cap on the world, and all the satellites go around it. They don't go into or over the North or South Pole.
Yeah.
So why is that?
What do you guys make of these Black Pyramids?
I like the thought about them because obviously they're all over the world. Same as the pyramids.
Sorry about the dog barking in the background.
Same as all the other pyramids, you know, the normal pyramids of Giza, the pyramids in South America, the ones that we've been recently found in Romania or wherever it was.
Yeah.
The ones in China, the ones under the sea in Japan. You
Yep.
know, they're all over the world in various positions. And if they were generators, and we go back to Nikola Tesla again, where he knew what the pyramids were for.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And so therefore, it would make sense that all these places that would have been populated, and they've proved that at one point Antarctica was a rainforest.
Yeah, that's right.
I think they said it was a group of German scientists took core samples out of Antarctica's seabed, and they discovered that the grasses and that grew there were of the same type found in the rainforest in northern Italy. So if that's the case, then Antarctica never used to be a frozen, barren wasteland.
Well, it never was because it shifted. I think there was a shift. You know, when the axis turns the wrong way and this that, and the other. Yeah.
When it flips.
I think. Can you hear that? Yeah, they think there was a shift, and Antarctica got moved off of the temperate zone where it was, because the Piri Reis map, the Turkish guy from the 15th century, he mapped out the Antarctica, and it wasn't frozen. He depicted animals and stuff on there. So, what do you make of that? You know.
So who's to say there isn't there? You know, obviously when Antarctica migrated south and ended up in its final position.
Yeah.
Who's to say that the people that were living on that continent at the time went, you know what's getting too cold down here, let's get out of here. The Polynesians, they refer to Antarctica as a place that their people used to go to.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, they've obviously gone, you know what, it's getting too cold down here. We can't grow crops. We can't herd animals or anything like that. We need to get out of here before it gets too cold. And they've then migrated elsewhere, and they've continued from there.
Well, it's like, Andy, you're gonna have to let me know about your UFO experience, because it's not coming up on the chat here. It's coming up on the chat there. So yeah, let me know about that, mate. I think all these bloody things are linked. Josh, Wayne, you've seen all these things. They're all lined up on the circumference, aren't they? And they're all bloody well lined up. And I'm sorry, the fact that you've got in Brazil, you have got have you seen the statue heads? They got heads of Africans, massive heads that are thousands of years old. And when you again look into the legends of the Anunnaki, and you look at all the old scrolls and stories, they talk about they would get them from their ships where one of their bases was in Africa. You know, the heart of the Eye of the Sahara. That's where they reckon Atlantis was. But they used to take their people there, fly them over, mine whatever they needed to mine, and then bring them back again. And that's why you've got these bloody great big heads there.
But again, it also goes back to the fact that most of the pyramids that have been discovered are all based on the same design, no matter where they are in the world. And yet we know for a fact that these pyramids were built at a time when there wasn't intercontinental travel in our standard.
Yeah.
So whose standard was it that same design went all over the world? How did so many different races of people come up with the same design at roughly the same time?
Well, again, when you look at when you read about the Anunnaki, we all used to speak the same language all across the board, all over the world. We spoke the same language. And then when the war started between Enki and Enlil, one wanted us to thrive and one day be better than them, and the other one was jealous as hell about us and started a war because they wanted to wipe us out. That's why there was the biblical flood and everything, because one was jealous, wanted a scrap. You had the two warring factions, one good side wanted us to be here and make it, and one that wanted to wipe us out. Angels, demons, That's it. But we all used to speak the same language. And the one I can never remember if it was Enki or Enlil, whichever the bad one was. They stopped it and they wrote, you guys are all going to speak different languages because it's going to screw you up, so you won't understand each other. You know, and that was the Tower of Babel, if I remember rightly. The Tower of Babel incident, when that was taken down, that's when the languages got screwed up.
They just didn't think that we would invent Google Translate.
Exactly.
I've had to use that a few times.
Just a Babel fish. Oh, hello.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. You know, if you're trying to control a group of people and they've gone beyond control, something has to be put into place to bring that control back.
Exactly. Religion is to control the masses.
And it goes right the way back to, again, what we're saying about Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
You know, something has to be done to be able to control the people. People are now becoming too free thinking for their liking. They don't like the fact that the people now are waking up and going, do you know what? I've had enough of this. We're not being told the truth. We want to know the truth. And if you're not going to tell us, we'll make you tell us. Thanks for that, Blossom.
You dipshit.
So, again, that's how you control the masses.
Sorry.
What was it? That's completely thrown me. That just hearing that voice go, "You dipshit."
Blossom decided she was going to groom herself on our coffee table, and she's just, as she's doing it, her legs are flying out in all directions. She's just knocking stuff off the table.
If the cat grooms itself, does it keep telling itself it's a strong-armed, muscly paper boy?
She's like, I'm a silly old cow that can't hear nothing.
So, do you reckon, Josh, Project Bluebeam, do you reckon it is going to be literally, you know, the fake alien invasion, the holograms, all this stuff? I reckon something is in the works and definitely something is coming. Is it that, or is it going to be a real thing?
I don't know. Like I was discussing with you before with the whole Dream State apparatus, it's very possible it could be that. It could be something that they're forcing us to almost on an astral plane. And then talk to it. I mean, take a poll and ask anybody if you had dreams lately about being invaded. I know tons and tons of people who have.
The trouble is, I mean, I don't know if you guys have as well. I've been having the last few weeks, I've been having really vivid dreams, and I'll have them now and again normally, but this is almost every single night now, you know. And is it this? Is it things trying to warn us? Are we trying to get people trying to get warnings? I don't mean people who've passed necessarily, but I mean, is there an intelligence out there that can talk to us through dreams?
I don't see why not. You know, a lot of people in the spiritualist sense have been able to communicate through their dreams. I'm the same as Eric. I get vivid dreams all the time.
Yeah, but Eric's dreams all involve leather and PVC and strange candle wax stuff. I don't know why.
And the only thing really that has been different for me over the last couple of months is obviously I've now been diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea. But again, NHS and the doctors, they just tell me, oh, that's weight related. So they're telling me I've got to go on a diet. I'm not allowed to drink anymore, and I'm like, but I don't drink anyway. So the stuffed you up there. They seem to think I love me beer, and I'm like, don't touch the stuff.
Mm.
So, I've always had vivid dreams, but there are people out there that get their communication through their dreams. For me, I mean, I can wake up and I can remember pretty much most of what I've dreamt, but there's the doctors and that all say, don't they, that you have about 1,000 dreams per night. Your brain goes into overtime because your physical body doesn't need as much power, so your brain is able to work a lot faster in the subconscious, and it dreams all those things.
Well, the brain operates in different dimensions, doesn't it? I think it's 7 different dimensions our brain operates in, and it operates in quantum as well.
Yeah, And when you think about it as well, is when you're sleeping, the only thing that, the vital organs are the only thing that are left running. Your movement senses aren't using up any energy. Because obviously 9 times out of 10, you're asleep, you don't move so much.
Yeah.
So your body's not going to use up so much energy, which enables your brain to start thinking more. And obviously with vivid dreams, it makes them sort of almost like real life occurrences.
Yeah.
Where you actually feel that these things are actually happening to you. And when things don't go right, that's when you wake up with a shock. And the old sit bolt upright, sweating like because something's been chasing you through a forest, and just as it grabs you, you're like boom, straight out.
Do you think that because I don't know, are you, Josh? Have you been having a lot more dreams recently?
I don't know.
The clean
way
ones.
More. Yeah, I mean, my dreams have been pretty vivid lately, probably for the last year.
Everybody I've spoken to about this, and the same thing when I've had people contacting me and stuff, it's been about the last year or 6 months to a year, and it's been going, and we've been saying for the last year something is coming, something big is coming. Those who work in the spiritual realm have been saying something big is coming. There's been talk of the second coming, but not necessarily the second coming of the Messiah, but the second coming of the resetting of the sacred male and feminine. That's one of the things I've been told. It's the resetting, rebalancing the sacred feminine and male. But that in itself is all to do with our brothers from out there coming down and going, we got to reset everything. This has gone to you've got you guys who know what's going on. You guys are going to are you going to ascend and this, that, and the other, but you guys have just been absolute arseholes and trying to make money out of everybody and squashing the truth.
So here's a question, and this is about Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
The movie with Nicolas Cage, Knowing.
That's a good
Project
film.
Bluebeam.
Yeah.
Taking individuals, mainly sort of children, teenagers, and moving them to another planet because something is going to happen to this planet.
Reseeding.
Yeah, exactly. Do you reckon like Project Bluebeam and the film Knowing are very similar to each other in what the overall idea is? Maybe not necessarily taking people from here and moving them elsewhere, but the thought that something is going to happen that is going to need their intervention.
I think there is something going on. Do you know what I think? My own theory. I think all this crap that's going on between the European governments and Russia and China, I think because no one wants a fucking war. I mean, shit me. I did a TA. I don't want a war. Wayne's in the RF. He don't want a war. Most people in the services don't want a fucking war. The only people that want a war are the ones who are in charge of the countries because they're going, look at me. And it's like, we don't want it. It's a thermonuclear war. There's no survivors. One of the things I have been told is that they're coming down to say, no, you're not fucking doing this. Could it be that?
Yeah, it's possible.
And if it is, I think it's needed personally.
It'd be like the Martians in it in what's the film? Mars Attacks.
Yeah,
they'll fire the missiles at it, trigger, and the explosion will get tucked into the gun.
Yeah,
and they'll use it as helium.
Exactly. Nobody in their right mind wants a war, but it's only the ones in charge who want to flex their muscles and go, look what I can do. And it is. You got the likes of Putin. You got the likes of Kim Jong-un. You've got the no offense, Biden, fucking bastard Rishi Sunak. And you've got all the others, and they're all like, don't know. We may do this. Stop it. Yeah, all they're doing is thinking about how they look. They haven't asked. They're supposed to work for us. Have they asked any of us? Do we want a war? No, we don't. You know, I
Well,
love my
like
job.
back in
I
the
love what I
day,
do.
the generals would march out and fight so the army didn't have to. Could you just imagine how much time we'd save if we just did that shit still?
You should. They bloody well should. Get the bastards in front of us. Right, you want to scrap? Go on. We'll back you up.
You and,
You
Yeah,
know,
you and Biden put on the gloves.
yeah,
We'll
I think,
televise it.
yeah.
and I think what's happening is now that people are starting to wake up. They're starting to say, "Look, we've had enough of this.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to be sheep anymore. We're had enough of being up the backside and told what we can do and what we can't do. We don't think this is right. We think it's wrong. We don't want this to happen. We're going to do something about it." Prime example, look at the cameras that have been going up around London. You've now got what people called blade runners that are going around and they're cutting the cameras down.
Yeah.
And then they're stopping them from putting them back up
Yeah, they
again.
are, yeah.
And this is costing a lot of money. But whose money is it that it's costing?
Did you see Billy Carlson's video where he sat there and went, if we all just went, do you know what? You work for us. We don't work for you. Fuck you. I'm not going to work. If we all went, we're not doing this. We're not doing this for about a month. You would have the governments going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Please, 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 please. Everybody, including the forces, if we all just went, nah, we're doing fuck all.
I think there has been a call for a general strike on the 23rd of July over here.
What with everything?
In the UK, there is a lot of people. It's been going around TikTok for a while now. It's been an organised sort of protest because obviously the right to protest is being removed. And every time we go down to London to protest about something, we're arrested and told to move on.
Yeah.
So what they're saying now is as the right to protest has been removed, what we should then do is on the 23rd of July is just to say, do you know what? I'm not going into work today.
Yeah.
And it would cost the bobberments of the world so much money if the people were to do that, that they would have to then stop and listen because they don't want it to happen again. They'll lose billions by us not going to work one day. Everything would come to a standstill. You know, you got your hospitals, your public services like your buses and trains and aircraft and everything else. If everybody turned around and said, you know what, I'm staying at home, I'm going to watch TV all day.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what to do with themselves.
I don't know. Our leaders are pretty damn crazy. They might just actually nuke everybody and be like, fine. Nobody goes to work. We'll just reset the planet.
Yeah, we'll just start all over again then.
I've just put a link in the chat. It's on here. I can't see it in this one. It's there. And that's for those of you who want to know about the Black Pyramid. Have a look at that. Another thing, whilst I think about it, the Black Pyramid. Do you remember a while back we were talking about the whistleblowers that came out and said, do you remember all the heads of state going to Antarctica to look at this?
Neil Armstrong?
Yeah,
saying that there's the most evilest thing he's ever seen and we need to do something about it.
Oh, Buzz Aldrin. It was Buzz Aldrin. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that all got redacted and nobody said anything about it.
Well, there's all that and those stories, and they talk about how the walls are like meters thick, and you just touch them and they open, and they all have these like glowing sigils in them and stuff like that. Those walls, those floors, those ceilings are all made out of the same black stone that these Black Pyramids are made out of. They all have some technology in there, and they have levitational anti-grav technology in there we don't know anything about. So is this all interlinked? Are these things that are now appearing and cropping up all over the world, are they all from the time before us, time before Dreamtime? Are they all from the Atlanteans, the precursors, the people from out there that came and landed on our planet thousands and thousands of years ago? Are these remnants of what these guys left behind when they buggered off?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Seems like it, doesn't it? It's the same tech. It's the same stone.
I mean, when you think about it, the likes of Antarctica is
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Linda.
technically a lost continent, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it was the last continent to be explored. So for us, it is a lost continent. We know for a fact that it was in a temperate climate. It had vegetation. It had animals.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it went down south and it froze over. But not only did it freeze over, it flash froze.
It did, because there's been things found that are literally
Been perfectly preserved.
not to put too fine a point on it. You could probably find either an alien or a tall white who was in the middle of knocking one off, and it. So just like they did in Pompeii. Have you seen that one? The Pompeii guy who was found,
Yeah.
and he was having a wank
Got
as
his
a
hand in.
pyroclastic cloud came down, and he got frozen mid wank. Can you imagine
So-
that? Oh, mamma mia!
Greatest pose ever.
Decides before he gets toasted, he was going to whack one off.
He's watching everybody freeze around him, and he's like, "I know what I'm gonna do."
Yeah. Mamma mia!
But on the Antarctica thing, while I was sitting around twiddling my thumbs earlier on today, I decided to have a look at something because something wasn't making sense to me. And for ages now, it's got to be at least 2 years, there's been a video going around of this tunnel in Antarctica.
Yeah.
That's got very weird, twisted lines going all the way around the inside.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're on about.
And everybody was going, "Oh, it's the entrance to the underground and the next level down, the hollow earth theory. This is the entrance into hollow earth." No, it's not. I've been doing some research today, and I have found videos that I don't know how I managed to find them, but I did. And all of the videos that made it out that it was a tunnel entrance into either the hollow earth or special bases in Antarctica, it's an ice bridge. The videos have been carefully edited. So, A, you don't see the sign that's just in front of the entrance. And when you go, the original video always gets cut before the bloke goes too far in. But as he goes into the tunnel, you actually see the other end. And all it has been basically is where there has been two pieces of land and snow and ice has obviously been caught in between the two. And then throughout wind turbulence, wind has carved its way through to make this little tunnel through, which has made this wind ice bridge. And the lines that are in there are the patterns that have been formed, caused by the wind going round in the circles as it goes out the other end. And I'm like, okay. Then I found 4 more videos, all showed the same thing. They showed the sign warning people to be careful of falling ice. But you actually see the top of where this ice bridge is. Someone actually had flown a drone or the helicopter or something and gone up and over the top, and you see the other side of the entrance. The bloke also goes through again, and you actually see the other side. But then there was a comparison of the edited videos that people had been seeing to this one video that hadn't been edited, and you actually see the sign, you see the other end of the tunnel from inside, and you're like, right, okay, so that's not the entrance to Hollow Earth because it's too short. There's still ice the other side of it, and then you see the clip where it goes over the top.
That's
So
one of the.
it does show that there are videos out there that are being done on purpose to make you think it's something that it's not.
I was just about to say that's one of the things that for people like us and everybody else who's in, and I'll use the umbrella of paranormal, when people make shit like that and the advent of AI, it gives us such a hard job to try and decipher what's real, what's not real, and this, that, and the other. And AI is getting harder and harder to see if it's real or not. So
I think with technology getting better all the time, eventually it's going to get to a stage where it will get harder and harder. I mean, look at how everybody ranted and raved when the Xbox and the PlayStation started using these new graphics chip that actually did single strained hair. And I think it was one of the Final Fantasy games, wasn't it, that actually used this drive that enabled you to have single strands of hair come out on the game.
That's right. Final Fantasy I think it was 12. It was 12 they started.
Yeah. So you know, it's going to get to the stage where AI will become sort of predominant as real life movies. There will still be glitches where you'll be able to tell. I mean, like we say, at the moment, you can tell by looking at the eyes.
Let me throw this out there. A lot of sci-fi portray us having leaders that are AI. Do you ever see that happening?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't like AI isn't going to screw you over to get rich stuff. It's at least one way to look at it.
Well, all the bloody governments are screwing us over to get rich in it anyway. So, you know, but yeah, I've just seen the Times Roll have disappear in a minute. I've been enjoying this today. It was a good one. All this stuff that's going on at the moment, do we think, is it going to be Project Bluebeam, or is there really, really something good going to come?
I wonder if they're both the same thing.
Could be.
Because obviously, depending on which way you look at it, Project Bluebeam could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing.
Well, there is a school of thought that we're actually in a simulation, isn't there?
There's a lot, actually. A lot of scary evidence pointing to that.
Yeah, we're actually inside a computer game. So if we are, let's make everybody in the world have a decent amount of money, get rid of poverty, get rid of all these horrible diseases that are killing everybody, and let's see some aliens, and let's have some good technology.
I mean, the reason why I say it could be a good thing or a bad thing. It could be a good thing if it turns out that it's for our benefit, as in beings from somewhere else comes down and say, look, sort your shit out. I'm here for everybody.
That's what I want.
This is what we're going to do to improve the way you guys all think and feel about each other. So we're going to tell you this is how it's going to be. You're going to stop fighting and bitching over land, oil, money, shit like that. You're all going to get on as a human race, or we're just going to walk away and let you all blow yourselves up.
Yeah.
Or it's a way of the religions of the world to try and get a little bit more control, which if you're in that side of things, then that's a good thing for them as well. But then it's a bad thing for all the others that aren't into that persuasion.
Yeah.
So it could swing either way. It's going to benefit one, but not the other. So it's got to be something that's going to benefit mankind, or humankind, I should say. You know, it's got to affect humankind, not just certain individuals.
Real or not real? Josh, Blue, do you reckon it'll be a real thing that happens, or Bluebeam?
I'm going to say Bluebeam, just what I was talking about before, about all the Native Americans say that, you know, they have the Sky Brothers. So I honestly think they're talking to who they need to be talking to. They don't care about the government. You know.
Do you reckon we'll have definitive proof?
Probably. I 100% believe that theory too, that a group came to us in the 60s and was like, hey, we'll give you this and this tech. And we're all like, nah, you can get the hell out of here. You commie, you try to trick us and giving away our guns? Hell no.
Well,
you go back to Russia before with your funny suit, commie. That's probably how it went down.
You're going to be playing Frankie Goes to Hollywood, 2 Tribes in a minute. There was the meeting with J. Edgar Hoover, wasn't there? He had meetings with two races from out from different planets. One lot were benevolent, one lot were benign, and he made the deal with the benign lot because he was an idiot. Yeah. That's another school of thought, and that's why we get the abductions in this, because he said, you give us some tech, you can abduct X amount of people a year, and they gave him a tiny bit of tech, started abducting people, stopped with the tech, and you've got the good guys looking down going, you fucking idiots. And again, that's not us. That's not us as a population. That's stupid little men who sit there and think they're in charge of the whole world, and they're not. They're stupid little men who are puppets being run by shadowy other government. And I will leave that there. Shall we carry on talking about this crap next week?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's been a very good show today.
I'm going to sit on the fence, and I'm going to say they're going to use Project Bluebeam, and our friends up there are going to step in.
That'd be
I've
cool.
never even thought of that one. That's a good school of thought. I like that.
It's got to be something pretty damn serious for them to step in, and something like Project Bluebeam or Another World War is going to be something that'll do it.
Have you farted again?
No, Ellen's just choking on a picture that's just come up on her phone of a certain individual that we couldn't give a shit about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll send it to him on WhatsApp.
Yeah, Ellen's going to send it to you on WhatsApp so you can have a good
Sarah
Yeah, no,
Louise, who's on this chat, not that chat, she said, hopefully they'll come down, take the world leaders and dump them on Mars. Yeah. But it's not just the world leaders, it's their second in commands.
Yes, the next one's down that need to go as well.
Yeah.
We need a reset.
Yeah, we do. We totally fucking do. So, we'll carry this on next week. Everybody who's been joining us from bloody everywhere, all like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the networks, thank you very much for joining us. We've been very popular tonight. Wayne, Josh, pleasure as always. Everybody in the chat room on here and on here, thank you for joining us. Keep sending us questions. And remember, there's not just myself and Josh, there's Wayne as well. Send us all questions. And we're going to try and make some new posters for the Dark Mirror show, because I have noticed that people advertise other shows, but not the Dark Mirror show. So I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed with that. No, just when we've got people that are in the Dark Mirror show, they're not sharing our stuff. They're sharing other stuff. So we need to start doing that. Naughty, naughty. So I will put that all up as soon as we've done some new ones. And yeah, they're just, I think today's show is really good. I'm really, really pleased with that. And I think now we have our team member across the pond and we have our team member at the other end of the country. I think we've got
I'm in the pond.
Yes, we've got a nice little triangle going on. You got the northern representative, the southern representative, and oh my God, you got him over there. So yeah, I think it's really good. So thank you for joining us, all of you. So it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
Yeah, see you later.
So join us. We will see you all
Try
next.
to complete the triangle, and what happens? Go.
Good night,
I'm
everybody.
American. I have to be difficult.
We'll see you all next week. And live long and prosper, my friends. Right. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Unless